Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the REDX podcast. I'm Robert Sullivan. I'll be your host today. We are looking all over this whole country to bring you the best leaders in real estate to help you grow your business. And today we've got one of those leaders, Zack Rosicka. Say hi to our audience. We're so glad that you're here with us today.
What is happening? I am so happy and honored to be here today.
We are happy and honored. We're excited. We're going to learn a lot from you guys. We're going to cover a lot in the next 30 minutes. We're going to be talking about mindset. We're going to be talking about luxury real estate. We're going to talk about how a solo agent can break into the global market. But before we begin all that, just a couple housekeeping items. This is a participatory event. If you have questions, comments, things you want to talk about, throw them in the comments. If we don't get to them while we're talking, I'll reach out to you, or we'll get back to you on our Facebook page at the Lead Gen Conversation, where we can continue the conversation. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our podcast so you always know about the upcoming podcasts at theredx.com/podcast, or subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can keep bringing you great guests like Zack we have today and help you build your business. But Zack, as we get started, I just want to give you a minute. Why don't you let our audience, some people already know you, some don't, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're coming to us from.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, so honored to be here with the REDX. My name is Zack Rosicka. I go by Zack. Located right here in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, on 30A. It's a luxury market for the most part. There's also more affordable housing, which is great. Because that's kind of what I live in at the moment. We got our first build 3.5 years ago in a nice development. So I'm thankful for that, for my family and I. But yeah, I've been in the business I'm in my 6th year now. And I still remember when I signed up, taught myself how to use REDX, really about a month into, not even a month into my business, 2 weeks into my business, I signed up with the REDX. And I remember being a little hesitant on hitting start and being so nervous. I could remember it like it was yesterday. So I hit that start button that looks like a play, icon, and that's all she wrote.
That's
Here
great.
We are.
That's a great place to start too, because I think we're going to get into some pretty cool topics. I think people will be having questions. A lot of people want to move into luxury markets or love the idea of going global, but there's this starting point, right? That
Yes.
Before all of that happens, you're a couple weeks into being a real estate agent. You decide to sign up for REDX and you have to hit play. Maybe walk us through two things, if you would.
Sure.
Why REDX from early on, and then let's talk about hitting that start button.
Well, awesome, Robert. So as I mentioned to you before we got started, I'm long-winded, so I'm going to try to curtail. I see Craig Proctor. I see my buddy Ricky Caruth on the podcast, and so many other stars that I love and honored to be in the same business as them. But I wish I could be that calculated, but I'm just not. I'm a ball of energy. So warning to you listening, if you like energy, it's going to be great. If not, just hold on. Okay.
We're excited.
So yeah, for starters, I think that truly 90% of your success, and I haven't ever thought about it like this until I'm sitting here with you today, Robert. I think 90% of the success that comes to 90% of the reason why success happens for an agent or anybody in any sales business where it's uncomfortable. Here's the thing. If you could see when you're starting where you could become if you just hit that start button on the REDX, when they call you from I think it's Utah,
right.
All of the time it's always Utah. I can't remember. I think it's 801. But if you just hit that start button and you start becoming uncomfortable, if you could see your future 1, 2, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, it would be so much easier to hit that button. Starting is 90% of the battle of becoming a success, because no matter how good or bad you are at that particular item that you're tackling at the time, right? We all are terrible. Usually when we start, some people come into the business with sales skills and know how to communicate. Me, I had zero, knew nothing about home sales, but I came from a 18-year music career as a professional guitarist and singer. And I started playing in blues clubs at 14 years old and going to, 8th grade the next morning on 3-4 hours of sleep. Now I was able to stay in beta club from 8th grade to my senior year. while getting no sleep and honing my skills. But I was playing guitar at 14 years old with seasoned veterans that were 45 to 55, 60 years old in my area. So I was entertaining people 21 and up, people that were drinking. I was 14, really about 14 and a half when I started completely full time. And I did it till I was 32. So the only thing, how that served me was being in it with adults, successful people, drunk people that are crazy, trying to stay out of fights, having to get into some to protect myself, right? So I was a kid in the bar. It was weird to see, but when I got on stage, it made sense, to the crowd and the audience. So I was thankful for that. That prepared me, because the music industry, if you think real estate's hard, the music industry is I don't want to say it's not a lot tougher, but what I will say is this: people warn me about how tough real estate is, and I think they're talking about the stressors and everything that go along with it, not just starting, right? And they couldn't have been more correct. The good news is I came from the worst business that you could ever be in. Okay, as far as keeping your moral compass, whatever it is, staying positive. The music business will beat anybody down and swallow you up and spit you out. I was able to withstand it and came out sober, not drinking or anything like I used to do, after 18 years of it. And I enjoyed it. And I always played my shows. I showed up. I might have missed 3 gigs out of over, 3,000 shows. So
I think that I love that background because, well, not everyone is coming out of the music industry. A lot of new agents are coming from very unrelated fields. Right. So while it might not be the music industry, their day job or whatever they've been in, they're saying, hey, I'm going to make this transition, even though it's not super related. And I'm going to try to be successful because I've seen other people be able to do it. So that's a start, right? They've already taken that leap of faith to say, I'm going to just change industries. But where do you go from there? Right. Like, so you come in and you say, I've learned all these skills from the music industry, keep my head up, sometimes, failure happens and so you're bringing some of those skills in, but yeah, you come in with not a sales or real estate background. So where did you go from there?
Zero. So, when I see a lot of agents that are getting in there, they're spending their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, however long, a year to get their real estate exam. I wish I could relate to that. Like when you get to the 3-month mark, I wish I could relate to that. I essentially, I was born and raised in Shalimar, Florida, which is right near Destin, Florida, and Santa Rosa Beach. My dad built my grandparents' house 37 years ago in Santa Rosa Beach. So I grew up on this, amazing coastline here on the Emerald Coast. Since I was a child, I started working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day in my 3.5-month summer vacations. Right. Started at 12. I actually white lied and told him I was 13 because legally you had to be. I was out there 12, working 7 days a week, 12 to 13 hours a day on the beach. And it was anywhere under the umbrellas, anywhere from 90 to 120 degrees. Okay. And I did that at 12 years old. So that prepared me for life. And for anybody that doesn't have that, you've got to develop a strong mindset to know that you're going to have to work for everything that you ever get. I'm going to say this: the most important thing my father ever told me was the world doesn't owe you a single thing. And he didn't say single. My dad was amazing. My dad was a mason. And I've been out there on the block pile with him since I was, 4, 5, 6 years old helping. And then I worked full time with him 6 days a week for about 12 hours a day on a 12-inch block wall. If you think that real estate's hard, go and not the blocks that you're used to seeing, right? It's not the 8-inch block. Go pick up a 12-inch block and you practice picking them up and slinging them all day for 12 hours. You'll realize that real estate might be the easiest business you've ever been in.
So what you mentioned there is that in those jobs that you had as a kid in the music industry, and then what I think I'm hearing that carries over, then you mentioned mindset. You said
mindset.
Yeah,
absolutely. So the reason why I was able to do, and thank you for reining me in. I told Robert, rein me in before we started, because I got, I'm trying to cram a lot into a small amount of time. So for reasons we won't talk about here, my dad thought that I was incorrigible at the time because I was not listening to him when he'd tell me, like normal young men do. Young boy. Yeah. I don't want to say boys, but 12, 13 years old. I got dropped off in Mississippi, in Petal, Mississippi, in a boys' home. And that was the most shocking thing that's ever happened to me. I was excited about it. until I showed up and I realized that it wasn't what I thought it would be. Needless to say, a few months later, I lost 35 pounds. I weighed 95 pounds. They were starving the kids. There was a lot of abuse there, hiding under the, being a nonprofit church, organization. When I left, they got shut down by the state. There was a lot of abuse that happened and stuff. Luckily, I didn't, but I ran to get help twice. I was the only boy who would ever run from the place to get help for the other children. I say children, they were young men. It was 13 to 18. I'm with people that were able to get into this program instead of going to prison. And so I got dropped off there from, I don't want to say a normal childhood. My parents separated at 3. But what I'm trying to share with you is this. It was very, very difficult. I was kind of on my own since I was 13, and failure was never an option. I didn't have time to think about it. When I was in that boys' home, and if you're alone enough in a desolate place and you get to know yourself because you have to or because of choice, I would much rather you do it because of choice. Because of what I went through, I wouldn't wish upon anybody. That being said, my father said, "Hey, Zach, I apologize." I said, "It was supposed to happen. I wouldn't change it for the world, Pop. I still love you. We're close today." And because it made me the man and father that I am today. So, moving on, when you come from that, and look, I'm blessed that I had this life. I'm lucky that I've been born and raised in America. Right. So I just look at everything as a blessing. And when I was going through it, I was scared, just like anybody would be, any young man or woman. So I pushed through. So essentially failure was not ever an option. And it created this mindset in me that no matter what, I'm alone. And then once I sat down into being alone, I realized that there's nowhere but up. But it didn't come to me that clearly. But all I did was continue to strive my best. So I took to the guitar as an outlet to express myself. Quickly, I became playing with the local legends. Next thing you know, I'm opening up for BB King and ZZ Top and all of my heroes, right? But I never got my record deal. So I ended up getting accepted on a TV show. And I got my license prior to this TV show. I got accepted out of one of 500,000 auditions. I'm going to keep it short. It was on like MTV Live, MTV Classic, and Pop TV. I was in Nashville for 3 months, had my young son. I just got past the exam, and I was active, but I hadn't started yet. I was like, here. And so this was a 7-album deal. I was away for 3 months. And the day before the finale, my band was going to win a 7-album contract and 14-year contract with Sony. We had full merchandise rights in the deal, publishing, everything, and tour. It was the best deal that my entertainment lawyer had ever seen come across his desk. And he said, this is the only one that I would sign myself. And it was great. Day before the finale, because I was one of 2 people with a child that was, on the show. And they said, Zach, the owner of the show called me and said, we blew our budget. His name was Gary Bridges. And I went, oh my God. So immediately I packed my bags and I drove home from Nashville to Santa Rosa Beach to be with my family. And I told my wife when I got home, I'm all in on real estate. So when I made the decision, that was it. But here's the thing. So talking about mindset, it's innate in me. But what I can tell you is before I even started taking the course, I started researching online on YouTube. I listened to Brian Casella. I wish I would have found Ricky Carruth at this time. I found Brian Casella, Kevin Ward, Tom Ferry, all these people, but their scripts just didn't resonate. They're all great. But for me personally, as they work for millions of people. For me personally, I said, that's too pushy. I don't want to be pushy because I'm all about connection. So I just started calling people and trying to connect with them. That's it. Right. When I went on to find Ricky Carruth, who is now a dear friend and my partner here at our company, when I found him, all that did was help me completely zero in, like laser pinpoint exactly how to have the conversation. Right. So, but I just started cold calling.
I want to pause real quick before we go to that, because I love this story. I love the whole story. We've had hundreds of podcasts here, and this is my favorite story that I've heard about how we get into real estate. But there was a point where you made a decision. You said, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And you were all in, even though success wasn't guaranteed or didn't come right away. Because you're telling me you tried a whole bunch of other things. and try this, try that script, try this coach, try that coach,
Sure.
and it's not landing yet. But keep moving forward because you were determined that you knew if your mindset, what you were going to do was, if I put the work in, I can make this. I can get to where I'm trying to go and be successful. Is that? I want to.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing because I love this story.
Oh, thank you so much, Robert. So yeah, absolutely. And that was actually before I even started cold calling, before I even signed up for the course. And as I'm in the course, okay, mind you, I'm still playing music full time locally to make money. And I had a decent living at it because I worked hard and played and sang my best and did the best that I could. But I was honing my craft by looking and taking all of the icons that are now icons in the business, a lot of them, and many more than those that I mentioned. And I started melding my own, not personality, but business plan. But it was sporadic. But it was taking the things that I like from all these people and combining them into what I was going to do. So I passed my exam in 30 days, basically having a 6-month-old. My wife worked full time and I was playing full time music. I passed in 30 days, studied, and I actually enjoyed it. And I hate studying. I would do it 2 to 3 hours a night. Everybody sells courses on how to pass the exam. It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Read and study and take your chapter quizzes 2 to 3 hours a day, and you can pass in 30 days or less.
Wow.
Because I was taking care of essentially almost a newborn and working full time. So if you want to do it, you get the ambition and put your big boy and girl pants on and you study it. You don't need to go pay, this agent, that agent, whatever prep course and all that. Look, just be an adult here. And I wasn't planning on saying this. And if you did that, I know thousands of agents and hundreds that I'm friends with that did that. And if it works for you, great. But really all you got to do is just learn the material. That's it. And if you dedicate yourself like that to this business, you will be in the top 1% of your local market within 3 to 5 years or shorter. So that mindset that was instilled in me is just to always go for it, because realize this, ladies and gentlemen, that if you do not take the action to do what is uncomfortable, you will absolutely be uncomfortable for the rest of your life and won't be able to accomplish your dreams. It's scarier to stay where you're at than to take a chance on being great. So that's it.
I love that. And you did. I mean, you bet on yourself. You took a chance. You went down different roads and coaches and other places that didn't get you where you want to go, but you kept your eye moving forward on where you were headed and found what worked for you. I'm going to jump ahead in the story because I know some people will want to know some answers to these next questions. So that's getting started. Well, there's a ton of unique parts of that story. There are some relatable things in that, people jumping in, not being successful right away, or not knowing where they're going or how their past experience is going to help them. That's very relatable in this industry. But jump ahead now, and you're in an area where you could get into luxury, and there's a lot of agents that might be where they have their goal as they're starting out, but they've got to get started first. But their goal, they want to get into luxury. Maybe share a tip or two or something that helped you break into a kind of a different market, right into the luxury market.
Absolutely. So here's another thing, y'all. I'm crazy enough to want to do this. I asked my brokerage we went roundtable at my first meeting when I was with a local company, and I told them I wanted to sell luxury. They told me not to do it. You can't, you won't. So I showed up to one more meeting and I never showed up to another one again because I had 148 agents that didn't believe that I could sell luxury, or they didn't believe in themselves enough to make it happen. So what I will say is this: I tried Mojo Sales as time went on. After I tried REDX first, I went to Mojo Sales. I went to Vulcan 7. I called all the numbers available in Vulcan 7 because you can't get enough information, that I came straight back the next day and said, give me my money back. I paid like $700 that month or something for Vulcan. I came back to the REDX and came back home. So what I did was I immediately went home, guys, and I'm going to rush because I'm sure we're crunched on time. And I hope this is helping somebody today. And I love each and every one of you, and you too, Robert. So I went in here and I started cold calling, and I was green as you can be. And I started about, maybe it might have been before 2 weeks in, but I'm telling you, I was brand new. And I went home and I started calling people. Now, what I did was, luckily for you and the REDX offers geo leads. That way I can geographically target who I want to connect with. So why am I going to waste my time on now? Hey, everybody to each their own. I've sold for sale by owners. I've sold expires. It's been great for me. But what's really great is this. is why don't I just go ahead and have the conversations with the people that already own the homes that I want to sell? And you want to know how to break into a luxury market. Well, here's the deal. Don't put, when you're on geo leads and you're on the map, don't go put where they got 5 different houses in the subdivision and they turn over once every 2 years. Okay. What you want to do is go under the hot spot of your luxury. If you want to sell luxury, go find the most expensive places in your MLS. You zoom the map in and you circle that area, development, Gulf Coast, West Coast, whatever it is. And what you do is you start calling them. And if you have the right script, and now I've been using Ricky Caruso's script for years, is, just reaching out to see if there's anything in the world you can do for them. Okay. Nobody ever has called me in my life and said, is there anything in the world I can do for you? Because if they did, I would say, hell yeah, you can come over here and help me with this. My younger son, you could do that, right? So when you tell people, that immediately kind of breaks down the sales walls that people have up naturally. And that enables you to start into the rest of the script to where you can have a conversation with someone. Now, sometimes I don't end up being able to have the chance. Is there anything in the world I can do for you before the people start already talking to me and tell me what's going on and what they're looking for or what they're thinking about doing, because I try to be relatable. And so, that's pretty much it. You start calling the people on geo leads or the expires, but go straight to geo leads and build that relationship with these people. And when they say that they're not ready to do anything right now, but I appreciate you calling, or I don't know why you called. Well, cool. Well, look, should you ever have the need for anything in the future, I love the opportunity to stay in touch. Would that be okay? That's not how Ricky says it exact. And he'd probably say you get it wrong. That's how I develop mine. Right. Would that be all right? And they always 70% to 80% of the time they say yes. And I get their email and I design an email that takes me 25, 30 minutes a week. And I send it to them every week. But it's market information that I gather from the from what's happening in the market. I put it into my words because they want to hear from us. And I put recently sold, featured properties, pending, and a search in there. And that's pretty much it. I tell them what's happening. And they call me and they say, hey, Zach, and people will tell me, hey, that like one day I'm not ready. A week later, 2 weeks later, 2 days later, hey, this happened in my life. People's lives change in the split second. Have a relationship with these people and you will be mega, your bank account. You're going to have to get multiple bank accounts.
So what you just said, not about bank accounts, I'll take that too. But yeah. I had a question. I know other people will have this question is, because I love this, just like everything else in your life, feet first and go at it. But you start building relationships and play kind of the long game on it. So yes. As you break into a market like the luxury market, what would you set as an expectation of someone that's all in just like you, gonna go circle that neighborhood, gonna start becoming the agent that they can know, like, and trust by just seeing what you can do for them? What's the time now that an agent might expect to have to pass through before they start seeing results from that?
The same amount of time that you're going to see for selling, a trailer or a $15,000 lot. Like I've sold a land deal for $15,000. And I help everybody, any of my friends that need help. Right. But if people are rude and disrespect me, you get one strike. If you do it again, and I'm loving and kind to you, and I always am, you don't disrespect me, you're fired. Don't be hesitant in firing clients because they will take all of your time away. That's number one. So it's not a chip on my shoulder. It's when you get walked on by clients, you'll realize that they're sucking your time away from you. They take your energy. They ruin it for the next client that you're going to be potentially speaking with or prospect. So it's literally just as fast. If you might as well be calling those people, okay, that are in that higher price point, because you're going to be doing the same amount of work. And I'm going to tell you this, you're going to be doing less work, because when you're working with new buyers, guys and gals and my friends, look, you're going to be educating them the whole way. They're going to be calling you because they are pinching pennies, just like I was on my first, buy. We all are. We know what that's like. Here's the deal. When you work with people that are accredited and worth multi-millions of dollars, or 100 million. I have one client that sold one of his companies for 195 million. This guy shows up in a t-shirt that's from like 1989 Cabo, right? Spring break or something, and shorts and an old Suburban. Keep in mind, he's got about $15 million worth in pre-war cars. but he doesn't show up like that. He drives his old Suburban. I'm telling you right now, everything that you have in your mind, my friends, about what selling luxury is like, because of what we see on Frederick Eklund and all these people wearing, $100,000 suits, scratch it. A lot of times I'll wear a shirt like this. This is about the nicest shirt that I own. Okay. I will show up in a polo t-shirt, a nice pair of fitted jeans, and some nice dress shoes, some slip-ons or something. You don't have to drive a Ferrari. Okay. I took over $20 million in listings when my car was being worked on, and I showed up in one of our cars that had the paint peeling off the back. And in one 45-minute sit down that was not a listing appointment, I took over $20 million in 2 listings, and I didn't even ask for it. And they walked me out to my 350Z. That's my wife's that she had since it was brand new in 04. And the paint's peeling off the back. Okay. It's not what you think. They're easier to work with because they're not pinching pennies. They know what they want. You go view 2 or 3 houses. The numbers make sense. They make an offer. They don't call you, and you just keep them updated, and you close. And now you made 30, 60, 90, $200,000. Now,
I love it.
Now, after being in luxury and doing that, you start meeting people. And I called the wrong number my second day of cold calling, Robert. You know what it turned into? $11,790,000 commercial referral, right?
Wow.
Well, that agent didn't sell it. So I ended up taking that listing again, and it expired, but I'm working on it off market now. It's 13.5 million. And I was the only agent to sell these clients RV park that they had on and off the market for 25 years. And I just sold it end of last year for 6.5 million. Wow. And it was an RV park on Panama City Beach Parkway. And I'm just blessed because I did the work,
That is awesome. I love it because it does come down to fundamentals every time. Like, people think that breaking into this new market, breaking into luxury, or even just being successful at real estate, that there's some fancy secret that they don't know. But what it comes down to are things that you've already talked about: mindset, willingness to work hard, and showing up. I mean, that's
you got to
being the one that shows up. And so I'm guessing, because that's what we're talking about, is that the fundamentals are what work every time, that we're going to get a similar answer. But it's what some other things that some people listening want to know about is that as a single agent, you've broken into some other international markets. And right. So yeah, you started in luxury and you've moved into some international markets as a solo agent. And so, yeah, tell us how you got there, and then and answer some of those questions for our audience.
Right. So prior to joining the company that I'm with, okay, guys, and this isn't a push. This what I want you to be is this. If you're going to be successful in anything, there's only one thing that everybody has in common, right? The one thing that everybody has in common that is successful, any successful entrepreneur, is open-minded. There's so many agents that are jaded. They are not open-minded to even open-minded to better opportunity, right? So here's the difference. When I saw my buddy, Ricky Carruth, on a podcast that was not on his channel. He didn't announce it. He made a video 2 months prior to, I'll never join EXP or Compass or any of these people, right? And I would watch his videos from time to time. This is before we worked together, but we were friends. And I saw that he switched, and like 2 months later, and I went, what in the hell is going on here? And so I said, if Ricky did it, Ricky's one of the smartest businessmen that I've ever met, probably the smartest. And so it made me look at EXP. This was 2 weeks into quarantine. Okay. The world had changed. I was with location real estate. Engel and Volkers and I switched back to location real estate because it just wasn't for me. I realized that I'm not learning anything. I was hoping it didn't help my business. I'm already doing it myself. I went to 100% brokerage. So I just closed $2,050,000 in 2 deals on a Wednesday and a Friday. I had $59,000 that I just made. I was feeling good, and I'm not bragging about money. It's only a tool. Okay. I want you to have it, make a lot more than that, whoever's listening here. But it's just a tool. So I made that. I was feeling great, and it was a Friday, and I saw Ricky switch. I went down the rabbit hole. I slept Friday night, or not until Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, woke up at 7:15, made a cup of coffee on just over an hour sleep because it was so incredible, the opportunity of EXP Realty. I went and I called him on the back porch, 10-minute conversation, signed my independent contractor's agreement because I knew I was going to do the best that I can and I was going to excel at it. all of the opportunities and the multiple streams of income, which is what it takes to build wealth. All the brands that I was with is one single income. You cannot build wealth with a single income, which is as you're trading your time, you're getting paid. When you walk away and have a vacation, not only are you not enjoying it, not only are you not enjoying that, but you're paying for it 2 times for your vacation and not prospecting and not able to be there for your clients when they need you. You can't, and then you're answering your text the whole time, and your wife wants to smack you because you're not spending time and you're not present with the kids. So I saw multiple streams of income, and it was immediate for me. Nobody asked me. I would pay somebody all the money in my bank account right now if they had called me a year or 2 or 3 before. I wish they would have. So if anybody's reaching out to you about EXP or any other opportunity in the world, be thankful that they care enough about you to do it. Don't take it as offensive, because every brokerage, the only reason why they grew to Remax and this and that is because they have recruiters that you pay for $100,000 to $300,000 a year, and they're on salary. Every brokerage is a recruiting company. Don't be upset if somebody cares enough to potentially change your life if you're willing to work. If you're just going to close deals, it's still a better opportunity, because you can icon, get your $16,000 in stock rewards back, and it's amazing. You get stocks for this. It's incredible. So what I had done, I had no experience, Robert, in attracting agents or sponsoring, or the ugly word recruiting, which really means somebody cares enough about you to give you a shout or a call. So I had no experience. I go in there, and I didn't tell my wife that I jumped brokerages. We have a young son, right? He was about 6 months old, and our oldest is 6.5 now. And he was 3.5 then. He's mostly nonverbal and autistic. His name's Carter, and young Colton. I go in there 2 weeks into quarantine, and I tell my wife, hey, guess what, babe? I'm like amped up on coffee, the energy of a new opportunity that's actually an opportunity, that it's not just me selling. Now I can help other agents, which I was already doing for free, right? I was already helping agents for free. Now I can get rewarded for that through EXP, not from the agent's income, but from EXP, because EXP is able to share half of the income off the top globally. Now, how much money is that? It's a lot. We're the #1 independent brokerage in the country, 3rd largest overall. They said it wouldn't work years ago. Look at us now, because it's agent centric and it's majority agent owned, and there's zero debt. The only brokerage with zero debt and majority agent owned. So I jumped in. I didn't plan on getting excited and talking like this, but I have to. I'd be doing you and myself and everybody a disservice if I didn't. I went all in. I said, Brooke, I'm going to attract agents, and I can do this. She goes, you never have, honey. I said, yeah. And I also didn't sell real estate either. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I knew nothing about it. I said, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to do amazing. Right. The 8-month mark with no experience and just loving people and helping agents and brokers and team leaders the way that I always have, and their people, I made it to the top 0.5% globally in EXP. Wow. as for attracting agents. At my 16-month mark, they sent me an email that I was in another private group I got accepted into for being in the top 0.5%. Well, now at 2 years.
Oh, you broke up a little bit there, Zach.
You there?
Yep. Yeah, I got you now.
Yeah, I'm ranked 399 out of 82,000 agents.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, 2 years ago, I had no experience. What you think you can accomplish, you can, and I'm here to help you with it. And if you don't like my energy, great, right? But if you took something from this of value, I'm happy. But I'm here to help anybody who wants help or a little bit of guidance, because it's what happened to me from Ricky Carruth for free. Is he shares with everybody. There's just no, and he influenced me. I've always wanted to be like that anyway. I'm honored.
Well, that is great, Zach. And I think we do have people that will want your help. So I want to share how people can get a hold of you. The website is, let's see, there it is. Zack Sells with a CK, zacksells.com/team-3. And that's where they can find out more about you, what you're doing, get a hold of you. And we've got it up there on the screen for those that are viewing so that they can find out more about you. Now, we are running out of time, but I want to give you the last word, Zach. As we sum up everything, we covered some amazing stories today and your story, but maybe just last word, what advice would you want to give everybody tuning in before we wrap up today?
I'm sorry, Robert. I think I got you back. It's been breaking up super bad.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Just wanted to give you the last word if you have some parting words before we wrap up today.
Absolutely. Look, guys, stay open-minded, believe in yourself. Don't look for outside support or any kind of encouragement from other people, because even if I have kicked out family members, just booted them out of my life because they were poisonous. Okay. Here's the thing. Don't look for everybody's approval. Don't worry about what people think about you, because we all are born alone and we die alone. Okay. You have one goal here, and it's to find your purpose, and we have to love each other no matter what creed or background you come from. Love each other, believe in yourself, stay open-minded, and when it becomes uncomfortable, the reason stomach sick, you need to start doing it immediately. When you start feeling uncomfortable, start into it, because it's a guide from the universe and God that you're exactly aligned to where you need to be, and then you become comfortable in it. I love you, Robert. I love you guys and gals, man.
Hey, I am so grateful you took time today. I love your story. I love the background. I love you jumping in feet first to everything and knowing what your goals are, and sticking to some fundamentals while you shoot for the stars on everything that you've done. Zach, thank you for taking the time to be here today. Thank you to everyone else who joined us today. We want to keep bringing you great people that can share their experience and their expertise to help you grow your business. Sign up at theredx.com/podcast to know what we've got coming up next. We'll be here same time, same place every Thursday at 1:30 or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we did not get to many questions today, but we can continue this conversation on the Lead Gen Conversation Facebook group and answer your questions there. Email us at marketing@theredx.com if you have other questions that you have that we can help you out with. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next week. All right. We did it.